Hello, Diablo. Hello, hello. How's the Weebow? It's going well. It is going well. Do, 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 do. Weebow. 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 Okay. Okay, so give me a sec. I'm gonna do the usual T stuff and we're gonna start. So we know what we're gonna do today. We want to look at this function, make it good. Maybe not just this function, but we want to finish making message displaying well sound. And yeah. Hello, CodeCon. Good morning to you. Well, it's not exactly my morning, but close enough, I guess, 4 p.m. I should say Boave. Awebo, Boave. Awebo, Boawe. Boawe, 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 Boawe. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do the T. Okay. Do. Awebo. Hello, CryptoCode. Hello, hello. So, okay, tea is brewing. What are we gonna do in the meantime? So, if I remember correctly, we now have a working server. That guy is fine and happy. But if we click on a channel, we hit a panic to do. Now, yesterday I was thinking, well, I guess we need to fix the panic to do. But that's not quite right because we have a problem right now that we didn't have before. Now we have only one buffer of messages that is reused every time we switch channel. So that means that the code that makes us switch channel is also in charge of loading the initial batch of messages. Kind of necessarily. How does it work though? This is gonna be interesting. Yo, Diablo on a 3-stream streak. Holy shit. I have to say, Twitch has become very like yeah, it's a weird gamification feature. And that yeah, let's put it that way. I don't know, like they used to have these things used to like be particularly meaningful, and now it's like, hey, hello, Dune, 7-stream streak. Let's go. Okay, who can one up 7-stream streak? Let's see who's gonna be the winner of this amazing game. Well, you know what? Technically, none of you can beat me. Yeah, someone do a month one the other day. On whose stream though? Um. So we want to go in channel list, I think now. I see. So channel list, join voice, user box. Some VTuber are playing one of those boring games. Dude, you don't want to miss your cartoon character playing random shit. So, I'm not even anti VTuber that much, but why are they playing such boring games? I don't know. I'm also not particularly anti VTuber, but I do think that there is a problem. So I think that we're gotten to a point with the internet where you really need to think about exactly what anonymity means on the internet, because VTubing is a way of maintaining, like, being anonymous as you do something. And I think the problem is that I think we should be learning that I don't think that being able to do things anonymously is bad. I do think that it is good, but in some circumstances, like it's not all good either. That's for sure. So I don't know. I don't know. Having people be able to have a platform where they say things and convince people of ideas, and they don't have to put their own face to do that. Yeah. Hello, Penguin. So we were looking at the channel list because that is where we switch channels. How do we switch channels? If item activated, blop. So that is how we switch channel. Now, the next question is, do we just switch channel and always empty the message list? or do we load those messages in here? I think we empty the message list so that we can centralize the code that deals with the loading messages. So we can do core message window dot len equals 0, and that's how we empty it. This is good, very lightweight. But most VTubers are just chicks that wish they had teeth as big as their avatars, right? Oh, I have to be honest. I've not really spent time watching VTubers. It's not something that I find interesting at all. But is this how it plays out? Is it really mostly that? Is it just like waifus in a sense? Like it's not 3D. It's not pure 2D. I think it's like 2.5D waifus. Is that what it is? Is there really no more variety than this? Yeah, no, but I didn't mean precisely 2D or 3D in terms of actual like rendering techniques. I'm talking about the fact that 3D as in a person with all their quirks and bad things about them, while you have 2D characters that are like extremely oversimplified. So um, a mind that is looking for simplicity hard enough can be sad, can be happier looking at a fully 2D thing. That's kind of the meme, right? That's why that's why I don't know if it is a meme anymore, but it used to be in the past. I don't know if you remember the 3D pig disgusting meme. And then you have, I guess, VTubers that are kind of 2.5, like they are essentially they are a character, but they cannot be, they're gonna make mistakes. They're not gonna be as pure and pristine as fully 2D characters. Plus a team of writers behind them, which is what happens. Well, maybe not necessarily a team, but those characters, they do have somebody that writes them anyway. So what is a person technically? I mean, what is a person? Last I heard, it's a miserable little pile of secrets, right? I used to watch a Balatro streamer named Vagabond, and he's a VTuber just for anonymity / simpler production. I mean, simpler. I don't know if simpler production. I buy the anonymity argument. I'm not sure I buy the simpler production. First of all, you could stream without a camera at all, so that's still fine. But then if you have a camera, aren't like, I mean, a VTuber setup? Oh, I guess there are some VTuber setups where they don't even do face tracking or anything tracking, right? Do they like have a numpad to switch expressions? Like, how does it work? Wait. I think some could be moving around based on sound waves, like the as audio plays, then the thing moves. Huh. Chat is real. Okay, chat panel. Let's implement this bad boy. So message list. Okay. We now have to account for one more state, the message list being empty. Can you suggest a good project to learn Zig? It depends on your level of knowledge. Um, if you are at the very, very beginnings of learning Zig, I suggest Ziglinks, ziglinks.org. And that is a great starting point. I'm going to send it also on YouTube. Okay. TypeScript and Python and develop like CFD. I don't know what a CFD platform is. Okay, financial trading. Yeah, if you don't have lower level programming experience and you want to start learning Zig, try Ziglings. That's not a better place to start. Some of the VTubers have a bunch of animation rig stuff like full face and head tracking, yeah, hand tracking, sensor fusion, etc. Plus a Steam Deck to control a lot of the OBS controls. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to me that you really gain simplicity by having one of those things going on, unless you make it super simplistic. Like I guess you could, at an extreme, you could just slap a static image there and that's it. But yeah, I was of the impression that people try harder than that. There's a I don't know how to fully describe it. Like I don't know how to describe it precisely. So I'll be a bit imprecise with my description. So take with a grain of salt. But there is um VTube a VTuber company, as in a company that develops VTuber tech that has its own 3D rendering, its own sensor, you know, its own VTubing stack. Let's call it that way. And I think the streamer who, like, I think she's the CEO. She's called Code Miko. Yeah, no, I know. There's more than one, but this one in particular, her, I think she's the CEO. Um, and guess what? They use Zig. We had their CTO. So the CTO of that company used to hang out in the Zig Discord, and they were using Zig at the company to build some stuff. I don't remember how much coding they were doing in Zig. Like the CTO, the guy was an active Zig user, and they were also doing, I think, maybe some Zig. But I do think that for them it was mostly like the most bang for buck that they were getting out of Zig was the build system, I believe. Um, but the company was small enough that they could do whatever they wanted. Yeah, I don't know precisely. It has to do probably with some of their custom stuff. I'm guessing I'm guessing they do mostly what is it that you do when you use Unreal Engine C++, I guess. But maybe for some of the stuff more towards the edge, plus some build pipelines. I don't know. Code Miko Ziklang. I don't know if there's anything that shows up. There's no direct connection. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Anyway, um, so we want to render our message list. Hey, the dead walking. It's a great time to build and release a Discord alternative. It is indeed. I've been working on this one for a well. I haven't worked on this for long, but I started before in non-suspicious times. So yeah, I'll tell you though that we're not gonna release this tomorrow. This is not gonna become usable tomorrow. It's gonna take a little bit more. People are gonna get this current wave of hype of getting away from Discord is gonna dissipate. but it's fine. It's fine. This project has already a big enough group of people that are interested in um, coming together on a platform that is not Discord. So I think we're gonna have our happy ending. Even if we take a little bit longer, even if we lose a little bit the, you know, the Discord, the people leaving Discord wave. Other projects can enjoy that one. Projects that are currently like more mature. Also on this topic, I think I have a plan for the web version of Awebo. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use. So there was an open question of how to get UDP on in the browser, UDP or like UDP dash like in the browser, and I am not 100% sure because you have to do it to really know. But I think that the closest thing that we're gonna get is gonna be web transport. The way I understand this is that web transport is basically the modern version. It's the HTTP3 equivalent of WebSockets, with the caveat that WebSockets are a TCP-like connection, while Web Transport can both do streams, but it can also do datagrams. So you can use Web Transport also to have essentially a sort of UDP available to you in the browser. So we were talking about how are we going to do media in the browser, and one of the ideas in the past was maybe we can use WebRTC. We if we were going to use WebRTC, we were never going to use WebRTC like for real, because the protocol is complicated, bloated. The entire stack is crap. But the idea was to maybe use it to just smuggle our own protocol as one media stream, and that's it. But it seems that we can avoid also that complexity plus potential bugs, because I suspect, and not just not just I suspect, I know for a fact that WebRTC implementations in browsers are all horribly buggy. Hello, Joker Dan. So, and I know this for a fact because I see occasionally my browser crash when using Jitsi. And you could blame Jitsi. You could say that Jitsi is a bad piece of software. And I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But if it crashes your browser tab, that's not Jitsi's fault, because Jitsi is only able to use like tab crashing is browser native code that goes wrong. If Jitsi crashes your Firefox, you ain't using Firefox. Dude, Firefox, I cannot use Firefox because it doesn't know how to use my computer devices. Like, I have to switch from Firefox to Chrome. Also, I do have all kinds of issues with Firefox on other computers. I mean, it's a mess. Like everything WebRTC related is kind of crappy. In any case, no, I haven't. They have? Holy shit. Okay. Well, good for them, I guess. In any case, this is what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna basically use this web transport stuff. Then we're basically gonna try to get UDP like behavior from it. Okay, so what are we gonna do next? What are we going to do next? Basically, okay, let me think what we're already doing. So Here we're saying, are we close enough to the top to load new messages to know this is more like to more old messages. So we look at the oldest UID. If we find it, great. Otherwise, it's 1. What more history is based on whether scrolling fast an article lower or equal than 100. So I mentioned earlier not wanting to load messages, but from the other place, and so that we could have only one piece of code to deal with that. But at the same time, it is kind of awkward to load messages here from an empty state because we're not restoring what was there. So you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I am going to go in here, and instead of just emptying this, we're emptying it and we are filling it with the newest messages. So we're basically copying, I think, this query, select channel present. So we're going to select channel present. No, this is just a search that goes. Yeah, this is select past, select present. I think we want select channel messages. Select channel messages. These names are not great. And we want channel and limit. And channel is going to be channel.id. And we want 64 of those. And then while rs.next. Also, how do we scroll to the bottom? I think that's going to happen on the other side. I think that is fine. Okay. Message window push new. Oh, you know what? This is also not enough. We need to reset the message window. We need to do message window dot either reset or dot empty. Give it reset. Actually, this is going to be something we implement later. I'm curious to see what that will look like. But in any case, core.gpa. Get kind. Okay, reset does not exist. I guess we could basically de-init and then recreate it. Yeah, that's basically a reset. Okay. Hi, what is your sense on Zulip? Was one motivating factor to for Awebo to eventually switch to that? Um, so uh, just to understand your question a little bit better, Tobias, are you asking because you are you asking in terms of like the Zig development stuff, which is currently on Zulip? Is your question about whether we want to move that to Awebo in the future, or are you asking because, for example, we have Zig development that is on Zulip right now, but I myself have my own Discord server still on Discord. Um, just to make sure that is what you were hinting at for the ZSF. Okay, perfect, understood. So what is my opinion on Zulip? My opinion on Zulip is that it is absolutely fine for chatting. The threaded everything stuff is a little bit clunky and you have to get used to it. But once you do, it's fine. And having stuff organized in topics that way does help. And I think it is a particularly good fit for something like the Zig Software Foundation because, well, for the development of the Zig compiler, because there's always a bunch of different discussions that are like very deep into the weeds of one specific thing. And there's going to be multiple going on at the same time. And it would be really hard to keep track of what's going on if all these discussions were intertwined. So that part is very good. I do think that in terms of usability, it's like, I don't know, it's not nice when you just get started, but then once you start grokking the mechanics, it's fine. Um, that being said, Zulip has a big problem, and that is it doesn't do audio or video. One very nice feature of Discord and before Discord software like TeamSpeak had is that you have this concept of a voice channel where you can see people in the voice channel. You can see if there is one person in there who is open to have a chat with you potentially. You cannot see if there are two or more people in a room already having a discussion that maybe you might want to join. um, so there is nothing like that. Zulip has a button to start a voice call, and what it does is it just generates a random link for a Jitsi room. So you don't see who is in a Jitsi room or not. You lose that visibility, and then on top of that, you have to use Jitsi, and Jitsi is not good. I don't like it. I think it's one reason. So I don't like using Jitsi as a user. I tried to deploy a Jitsi server. Boy, I hated having to seeing how what you have to do to deploy Jitsi, like to maintain Jitsi. Absolutely not good. So basically, uh, I think I'm not the only one who appreciates the idea of having voice channels that work that way, and also who wants to have a good screen sharing experience. And I would say that Discord does a pretty good job at giving you decent, screen share. I would say that is one of the features of Discord that works best. Although, I always use it on Mac or Windows. I don't know how good is the Linux side of the equation. That is something that only Linux users can speak about. So to conclude, um, I would say it is not a guarantee, But the hope is, yes, to eventually move ZSF stuff off of Zulip to a self-hosted Awebo. We definitely want to move, at the very least, private discussions, within the core team to Awebo, to be able to move everything off of Zulip. First of all, we would need to implement all the moderation tooling. That's going to be a bunch of work that I'm implementing right now the basics of showing messages, so it's going to be a while before we get there. But it will require doing implementing all the moderation stuff, and that will take a while. Will Awebo at that point be better than Zulip for chat? I don't know. We could try to replicate, like we could create a multi-topic channel. Like we could create channels that only allow you to create threads. Discord also has those, although I think that the way that Discord does it is not as good as Zulip. So we would have to see. I would say that Awebo is most probably not going to be mind-blowingly good. It's not going to be a mind-blowing improvement over Zulip for text. I think that Zulip is pretty good, but man, the not having audio is suffering. That is my take. This may be a topic that you answered before, but how will you do encryption? Using libraries that implement encryption, and then you slap those libraries on your stuff. You wrap your connection in TLS. So the idea there's an issue if you're interested for this stuff. Not here. So you can see here the discussion that we're having about authentication and security. So the long story short, I think the idea is to have clients have certificates public private key pair, and then we do MTLS with the server. That's going to cover authentication and transport layer security for the TCP connection. For UDP, we haven't really looked into it yet, but we're probably gonna we have the TCP channel that we can use to set up whatever, to have a shared key for a UDP session, at the very least. So something along those lines. Then there's also another aspect, which is end-to-end encryption. And support for multi-tenant web serving would be nice if it was more than one community. Yes, that's gonna work. Basically, that you spawn two processes. You spawn two Awebo processes. I think it is. I'm definitely going to cover the option of hosting more than one Awebo server, more than one Awebo host on the same server, and to make sure that everything works fine, even if you're not using default ports, for example. Like, make sure that everything is transparent. But for from the perspective of the user, but like that's how you do multi-tenant. And then we do push new. But I don't think we can do that. I think we need to do backfill. I think push new is gonna yield wrong results. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's see where this lands us. Okay, I was right that we're getting garbagey results. Okay. So either we do push all in here, or I think we can do backfill. What's the definition of backfill? Front fill? Okay, what do we have in here? Oh, it was lowercase. NW landing is the window size, use the server initially messages from the database. This should be it. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Now here's the problem. Check this out. How did you get the balls to stream yourself coding, not fearing you will get judged? Uh, that is an interesting question. So long story short, that is a decision that I made a long time ago. That doesn't have to do with streaming directly. You know, let me take your question and just change the context around it a little bit. Why admit when you do things wrong instead of deflecting and trying to blame somebody else? Like let's say that you have the option of getting away with blaming somebody else when you do something wrong. Why not do that every single time, right? That's a genuine question. You know, people say that you shouldn't, but you know what? Let's ask the question. Why wouldn't I? There's usually bad consequences when it's your fault, right? Let it be somebody else's fault. But the problem is that if you want to get better at something, like if there is something that you really like and you want to do it a lot and you want to get better at it, then like you will realize very quickly that identifying mistakes and addressing them is going to be something that you will have to do a lot of times. By the way, I started learning skateboard recently, and with skateboard, if you want to be able to land the tricks, if you want to not land with your ass or your face on the ground, you have to learn things. And every time you do something wrong, you need to realize that you did something wrong and change it. So long story short, I like computer science a lot. I like programming. And I decided a long time ago that I would be fine with exposing myself to judgment, because my interest ultimately is just to enjoy more of this, enjoy more programming, and try to get better at it, and hang out with people that are at least as good as me, ideally better than me at this stuff, so I can steal all the clever things that I've learned. Yeah, so ultimately, other people's judgment, there's judgment and judgment, right? Sometimes people can look at what you do and say that you're doing it wrong in a useful way. Sometimes they can use that to hurt you, but as you grow older, once you are not a teenager anymore, like other people's judgment becomes less and less. It matters less and less. It's fine. And in my case, my point is that I don't know. I just like programming, so I'm fine with the people pointing out if a piece of code that I write is crap, etc. Who cares? That being said, you'll also learn that other people's code is full of crap as well. So you're not the only one. We're all in it together, in a sense. So we have messages loading. Now check this out. I'm gonna tab out So look at what you're seeing here. Now I'm gonna tab out. So uppermost message 42, lowermost message 51-ish. We tab out correctly, but then when we tab back in, holy shit, wait, why is it loading correctly? Why is it loading correctly? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Why is it loading correctly? I'm weirded out. I'm weirded out by this. This should not be loading correctly like this. Maybe wait, maybe oh, you know what? I think I wasn't enough okay, wait. I wasn't scrolled up enough, I think. I think I'll be able now to replicate it. Yeah, there we go. Like look at it. Okay. That's on me. That's on me. Like okay. I'm up to message 6. Go here, go back up. Now we're at message 42. What's going on? We forget that we were scrolled up, or rather, we remember some details about our scrolling situation because we do save the DVUI scroll info, but we forget which message like chunk we were at in a sense. So we need to remember that information so that we can replicate everything. So how do we make it work? I guess what we want to do is remember always the newest message. And we want to load 64 messages from the newest message. And by default, newest message is like maxint. So let's code it that way. So no, we want channel history actually. Below which UID though? This has to be core.message window dot where do we store this data? I think it's in the channel. The channel has to have this data. So this needs to be channel dot I'm assuming that if we're doing this, it's because the channel is chat. Okay, so it's not even channel, it's chat dot client dot. Yeah, there we go. Fetch all messages, all new messages, perfect. So this stuff, yeah, we need a new state variable in here, which is chat client last newest. Something like this. Always load new message to an offset, then maintain a sliding window of messages based on scroll position. Sorry, Jokerden, I don't know what you're suggesting. The point here is that I want to deliberately free from memory everything that I can from a channel view that we are not looking at. So before I touched this code, we had a buffer of 64 messages per channel, per every channel in each server, in each host that the client is connected to. And that was always kept in memory. Now I'm changing this to only have one buffer of 64 messages, only one period. And then whenever you click around, that one 64 message buffer swaps its contents in and out from a database. So we are now orchestrating this code that I'm like this stuff that I'm describing now. So client only. Okay, so this starts at max int, and now we need to make sure that we update it every time we modify what's happening with the. Actually, wait a second. We don't really need to change. We don't really need to modify this all the time. We only need to modify this as we swap. Aha. This actually can be handled in here. There we go. So we could reset the message window, but before we can do chat dot um, chat client last newest equals for.message window dot last dot oldest, no, newest, latest. Okay, so like this const last newest is latest, because this can be null, because there could be an empty chat with nothing in it. This returns an optional message. So if it's present, we do L dot ID. Otherwise, if it's not present, what we do assume is the newest max int. Nah, actually, you know what? We can just do the assignment right away because ultimately, we're already breaking this line, so it's going to be fine. Okay, no, okay. So here's the problem though. Chat client last news, like this chat points at the new chat that we are getting ourselves into, right? I'm actually kind of confused. If item activated, I need to reread this code. Like, what the heck is going on in here? Wait a second. For each channel item, for each channel, we define a button, and then we will find that a button is activated for the current chat, which means that we're in the act of clicking it. So what does that mean? That means the chat in our case is the target chat, is not the old chat. So that means that we need to look at this and look at the old chat. Hello, X2. What's the problem here? Oh, this is optional. There we go. Actually, you know what? We need to. We actually don't know if this is gonna be a chat. Uh, okay. So reply messages in the message window. Okay, let's see if we build, and let's see what happens. Let's. Oh shit! I deleted the cache. Whoops. Well, I guess we're gonna have the opportunity to test more stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I think that this is another bug that we need to fix. Okay, so first load is busted, and now this is also busted. What did I do wrong? Integer does not fit destination type. Man, I should not have deleted that thing. I should not have deleted that directory. God damn it. We are now testing some other code path, which is unfortunate. So in channel list, we're running select channel history, and that, binding this causes trouble. So that means that we're passing bad data to select channel history in here. It means that we're passing garbage. Oh, no, no, no. It does not mean that we're passing garbage. Well, it told us it doesn't fit. Oh, wait. Is it because we can do... Um, Wait, is it because this is supposed to be i64 to work with the database? Yeah, I think i64 is the online database type. Yeah. Okay. So now we're back to working, and we can click around, and it works. Oh, I saw you. Look what it's happening. We're losing one message at a time. That is not nice. So what is the problem? The problem is that l.id. Oh, we need to do -1 because I believe that this query loads strictly below it. Yeah, this query loads strictly below it. So we need to do lid -1. +1. God damn it. There we go. Do. If I scroll up a little bit, 95 down here, half only the admin line visible. Perfect. Now let's see. Now it's 30, 39, 30, 39. Okay. Um. Okay, so this works. So this works. I think we did it. No, we didn't do it. We didn't fully do it. We did some of it. Now there is more stuff that needs to be done. But you know what? I think this is good enough for a commit. Maybe we need to fix. We need to fix what happens on first load. So let's see what happens on first load because there's some weird shit going on in there. With that fact that we don't see anything smells of UB to me. But so let's diagnose the other stuff, and then I think we can commit, and then we can look at one bug report that we received, or I don't know, work on something else. So I'll be right back. I'm just grabbing my teacup. Okay. So, huh. Okay. Um. So, yeah, it works. I think you can see that it's slightly slower at loading the page. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think it suffers a little bit more. But I mean, it's fine. So, what happens on first load then? So if I remove the cache and I run the client, the first time it doesn't hit right, doesn't it? What is happening? What is happening? So, also wait, was that a circle that then became a square? Wait a second. This is a circle. Oh, you click on it, it becomes a square. That's yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, right? I don't know. Um, so we don't know why this on first load poops itself. So the answer is because on first load, if we don't have cache data, we're hitting a different code path. That is it's as simple as that. We're just hitting a different code path. So we need to look at what happens in host sync, I think. So first of all, we know that we are repainting the interface after the host sync because it does show this channel the server name in here. I don't remember though if it did that already. Oh, maybe it always shows banana by default, so you can't even really tell if that happened. Um, although 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 hmm update host KV users delta channel delta. Okay, so here's what's happening. We're basically we were basically doing this instead of this. Oh, 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 yes. Wait. That that's it. Like we are inserting the channel in like in the database, but we're not adding it in memory. So there needs to be something like else host dot channels dot that. This API is horribly suboptimal, but at least get it, yeah. Can this be ACH? No, sorry, this is M. Can we pass down an M dot star? I guess. and we try. Can we try in here? Can't try. Gotta catch them. Okay, I think we solved our mystery. It wasn't much of a mystery after all. Yeah, we're just not loading them in memory. Okay. Wait, that was interesting what happened just now. Wait a second. Did I misclick this? I was drinking tea, so I was kind of lazy with it. So I'm going to click default channel. I will see messages. Click here, click here. No, it works. No, it just works. Huh. Okay. I think we can commit this. So we reduce the amount of conflicts that we have with people. I don't think there is any particularly horrible hack that I left in there that I need to change. We reuse whenever switching channel. Yeah. I think this code is not, well, this code doesn't handle switching host yet. Um, we'll be added in the future. To do what else? Okay. So we pushed, which is nice. By the way, okay, we're gonna look at this bug next. But in the meantime, I'm wondering if I should make an issue for the web transport stuff. I think it's a good idea to do it. Um, and also I added a new follow up to the user is typing feature for making for implementing tracking of users that are typing to make it more efficient. Basically, we currently have an hash array list, so something that involves heap allocation, and we can turn that into an array of a fixed length array. Also, I should say this should be. Do we make them nullable? We can just say 0 initted. Okay. That I left unspecified. But so we have basically we have a mechanism to turn all operations into constant time. All operations related to tracking who is talking. The trade-off is that I originally envisioned that in the client we would keep track of a arbitrarily large number of individual people talking. But that had its own issues. And so I know that other chat applications do the thing where you see one person talking, like you see foo talking, then foo bar, typing more than talking, typing. So it would be foo is typing, foo comma bar are typing, foo bar buzz are typing. But then after that, you see many people are typing and you lose information. And I wanted to maybe still display many people are typing, but then somehow have a way of seeing who exactly is that was typing. And so when Tristan Pamble implemented the way I described the issue, the functionality, he did work to implement what I was asking for. But then I realized that actually the trade-off, like the reason why other applications are at some point not tracking at all how many people are talking at the same time might be, I don't know that for sure. I mean, there's for sure a user experience component. There's no point in showing the user an endless list of users that are typing. And like you can say that 3 users is already enough. It's the upper limit of comfort. More than 3 people typing at the same time, it's fine to be imprecise from that point onward. And it's also like these events become increasingly more unlikely the more you go up. So there's also that to keep in mind. But I don't know if so that part I understand, and I think that other chat applications also understand that way. So fair. But I think there's also an argument to want to limit the number to up to a number, the number of the precise knowledge of who is typing. Because if you do that, if instead of wanting to keep precise knowledge of who is typing for potentially every user in the server, up to every user in the server, if instead you cap it at, for example, 3 users, then you can turn a bunch of linear or log2 operations, log of n operations. You can turn them into constant time. You just have an array of 3 typing notifications and you run this algorithm on them. I mean, this algorithm, you just do the obvious stuff that you're supposed to do that you have to do to keep track of this data that way. And boom, you made the thing like stupid easy, stupid fast. So this is another enhancement that I proposed. And then um, and then maybe we can make a new issue. Transports. Yeah, actually, there is a, now that I think about it, we have a big blocker in the web to be able to put the Awebo client in the web. Um, we have multi-threading right now. We're gonna switch to green threads. Um, well, but the problem is that neither works with WebAssembly. So in WebAssembly, you can't have multiple OS threads, and you can't have multiple client-sided threads, because with green threads we could still have one OS thread, like the main, let's call it the main thread, and then we could we could task switch in it. The problem is, well, WebAssembly doesn't support manipulating the stack, so manipulating the stack pointer and stuff. Um so the Awebo client is actually blocked on either. Let's do this. Okay. We currently use IO threaded in the client. In the future, we will probably switch to IO evented. Fortunately, neither works in WebAssembly. WASM has only one OS thread and can manipulate the stack pointer, etc. Two possible solutions. There's a proposal. WASM green threads. They didn't call them that way. What did they call them? Path to phase 4. WASM 3.0 garbage collection threads and more. Did they? There was a thread on this stuff, wasn't there? So this was pushed not long ago. 64-bit address. 64-bit address space. Okay. Multiple memories. Garbage collection. For a new and separate form of storage that is automatically managed by the WASM runtime via garbage collector. Okay. Type references, tail calls, exception handling. Exception handling? And they're a common feature in modern programming languages. Are they? Like, are they a common feature in are they a common feature in modern programming languages? I think I would. Well, you know what? I was about to disagree, but I can only semi disagree. Unfortunately, modern languages do have exceptions. Rust has exceptions. Go has exceptions. I was about to say that they don't, but now they do. So never mind. Relaxed vector instructions. Okay. Um, Deterministic profile, custom annotation syntax, JS string built-ins. Oh, whoa, 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 wait a second. JavaScript string values can already be passed to WASM as external refs. Functions from this primitive library can be imported into a WASM module to directly access and manipulate such external string values inside WASM. Really now? So they finally did this. Holy shit. Okay. So some people were pointing out that WASM 3.0 would have something to do with multi-threading, but the answer is that no. They it seems that they didn't. I think it was called WASM effects. WASM effects. There we go. With effect handlers as a unifying mechanism to enable efficient compilation control idioms such as async await generated iterator, first class continuations, etc. Um, WASM effect is currently being considered as the basis for stack switching in WebAssembly. The concrete proposal is known as type continuations. Womp womp. Hello? Oh, they renamed it to task switching. Explainer was updated 4 months ago. Design notes are stuck to 2 years ago. Examples were changed last year. Squashed, squashed, squashed. Okay. I should learn some WebAssembly at some point. Actually, wait a second. Would Evented have to do that? Hmm. Well, let's say. Yeah, I think this is going to be blocked for a long time. Wait, what the fuck? So they have a concept of threads. Hmm. Please tell me this is not AI slop. Shared array buffer. WebAssembly threads. Has threads. WASM feature detect. Has threads. Import module with threads. Input module without threads. C. Wait, they have threads. They have p thread. Wait a fucking second. If p thread works, then we're good. If p thread works, then we're good. Okay, I'm not reading everything, but it seems that we. Okay, I'm gonna copy these. I don't know. Yeah, the proposal stuff I've seen, but I'm fine with linking proposals for something that we know doesn't exist yet, but this seems to be existing. So I just would like to see something that kind of tries to use the feature to see if it's like actual threads, as in we can use those threads as we can basically wire them to std.io, or versus it's like this, some kind of janky thing that maybe is more like multiprocessing than more multiple threads, but it seems to be the real deal. Oh, I keep pasting with the wrong keybind. I'm actually curious. You know what? Maybe we should try. I think that maybe we should try to see if we can make io.threaded work with WebAssembly. I'm curious now. Not going to try this now, but at some point we should try. So we need SQLite. SQLite in the browser. How does it work? DB browser for SQLite? No. I guess WASM SQLite. Hmm. Okay, let's see. Sub project. Project news. AVVFS version 2. This is December 2025. The build process now supports 64-bit WASM. Added instructions for building with the SQLite encryption extension. Long overdue instructions for configuring the library level JS logging routines. What is this? It's an SQLite VFS, which delegates storage of its pages and metadata to a key value store, which is going to be local storage. Okay. So yeah, so essentially, the SQLite WebAssembly is a thing. Perfect. So I guess the path forward is, can we get multi-threading working in WebAssembly? Can that work with ICD.io? Can we add a web build of the client to our build script? Getting started. To make progress with this issue, we first need to, well, we want to get a hello world TVUI. We want to get a hello world WASM client, WASM Awebo client working. Start. Um, one, add to build.zig a web step that builds the web client. The web client should be a hello world TVUI application that uses io.threaded and that spawns and it shows that spawning and it shows that running uh, and it shows that we can IOTA concurrent a few things at the show that we can init the database correctly. So if no blockers are encountered, then it means that we'll be ready to uh, then we can start investigating more. Well, then we can start working on web transport integration. I think we need a new label for web. Oh, maybe we should copy this color. Okay, so we have made some progress. Okay, let's take a look at the issue that Neiman Burns encountered. I think this is entirely on me. I think I was playing around with the uh, implementation of um, with the life cycle of queries, and I think I did something bad that doesn't play well uh, with transactions. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can repro his problem. So he just wants to be able to run this in the server. So I'm gonna kill the server. Then in here we run this. And it panics. So okay, easy repro. And the problem is that statements about a one cannot commit transaction SQL statements in progress. Um, and I think that unfortunately this has to do with how we do how we run run queries. So if the query is exec, we just step to completion. We did try originally to step to completion our row statements, but stepping them to completion breaks them. They return null. And unfortunately, we cannot, like, and this sucks. Because they basically the problem is that they remain open. That is the problem. The problem is that they remain open. So basically, the row type has a few things in it. It has get as, it has, but it doesn't have anything for lifecycle management that does it. So there's no lifecycle management at all on this bad boy. It's what Demon Burns ended up doing. So his original take was inside the function query to reset the statement any arg. Wait, where did you put this stuff? Lines? Oh, change. So remove my reset. Oh, that reset got moved down here as a separate reset function. Okay, which then was called externally. So basically, we were externally calling reset. And then he changed it in run to do reset inside run, but this should not work. I don't think this works. Wait, where did he move the reset? Handle display name. Oh no, wait, this this is like in the usage code. So in the usage code, he's calling a reset from the outside, basically. Yeah, that should fix it. But yeah, this isn't me. Basically, I was trying to make it so that we didn't have to do the init. But now it seems that we do. And I think I think we need to reestablish the init stuff. This is going to be tough. This is going to be a lot of code that we need to fix. I was hoping that I could be sloppy with this, but we're getting punished. SQLite is punishing us. SQLite 3 finalize. Is import C broken on master? Depends what you mean by broken. If there was a header file that you were able to translate in the past that you're not able to translate now, yes, that's because we're the 0.15 was using Clang to do translation of header files, and now we are using ROCC. So the way it works is that if you encounter an issue of this kind, like something that was working that now doesn't work anymore, go to Codeberg, make a Codeberg account, then go to Codeberg Ziglang / translate C, and you can open an issue here, and it's fine. It's just because this is Veka's reimplementation, so they're working on this stuff. And you know what's interesting though? I think that you see this one I opened myself. I think this one, this is interesting by the way, that in 2 months not a lot of issues were encountered, so that's good. Also, I think this one was solved, so I think they have. I think they need to clean these up a little bit. So I think a lot of these have actually been solved already. But what is my point? My point is, yeah, do try to report because it just needs, these are just improvements that need to be done to ROCC. In the meantime, to unblock yourself, here's what you can do. You can run from the CLI Zig Translate C on those header files that you need, and you can temporarily include those those generated Zig files in your source files as a temporary workaround. That's what I did. That's what I did myself in here. Be careful because this is not it's not a real alternative, because if there is anything in here that is um, system dependent, then the generated header files in here, like the generated stuff in here, will not be perfectly portable. So this is not a one-to-one. This is not the same thing. Yeah. But for stuff that doesn't do, complicated stuff, it's good enough as a temporary workaround. I can promise you that if that was not the case, like if committing the translated stuff was equally good, like if there was no issue with it whatsoever, then translate C would not be, like import C would have never been a feature in C in Zig, because it could have been just a pre-processing step that you run once as an external tool, and then that's it. No, I just run Zig Translate C. In this case, I run Zig Translate C manually. I gave it a bunch of flags to recreate this situation, and that was it. Well, this situation plus import path that I have set up in the build script. So I need to take a look at what SQLite 3 finalize exactly is. I don't remember if this destroys the statement. I think it does. Hmm. But that's annoying. It is annoying. So that means that we need to implement the init on rows. Although maybe instead of calling it the init, we could call it reset. In README. If you mean for Awebo, no, it's just a temporary workaround. Actually, it might be that it's already fixed, like that fix has already been upstreamed, and I could um, uncomment that code up there already, and it would work. I mean, can we Zig build? Let's test it. I fear we might not be good. This is what's happening. What was happening before? It's an infinite loop, so it's not being upstreamed. Kill all Zig. um. Oh God, why is this thing lagging so much? Dude, you good? Okay, it's good. Is there a purpose to testing a Awebo right now or ever without a Mykonos camera? Um. Yeah. I would say yes, because you can do the chat stuff. The chat stuff doesn't, like, you cannot test the video stuff. Although if you have headphones, you can at least listen, I guess, if you want, to other people talking. Assuming that you're in, like, if you're testing it on a server that isn't just yourself. But um I think we need a Webo to be a little bit more mature before this makes sense. Right now it's just a pile of crap. It hasn't reached the critical amount of utility to that it's worth doing this. I think once we have working audio and more working chat, then we can start working, methodically adding all the fancy chat stuff, all the fancy chat CRUD stuff, and we add it one by one. And at that point, you can click around, you can try to do stuff and see how that looks like. Um, yeah, we just need a little bit more time. Because as you can see, even my queries, even my SQLite code is not even fully complete. So we need to give a init to rows and a init to row. So let's make this happen. Okay, this is lagging a lot. Oh, that's probably what I needed to kill. Okay, I think we're good now. To it's still lagging a little bit. Hmm. Um, man, did you see this giant lag spike? What the fuck? Hopefully, this is because we just killed Zig under ZLS, and ZLS had to restart it and try to reanalyze everything. If I see one more lag spike, I'm gonna kill the editor, htop, kill everything that sounds like Zig. Sorry that I asked what is the editor that you're using. This one. My editor is flowcontrol.dev. Q. Hmm. I mean, then we don't need this, maybe. Catch db.fatal. I think we can make this a catch unreachable. It's definitely a programming error if this reset blows up. So catch unreachable. um. Yeah. Is there a way of querying if the statement? Oh, it's self.rows.statement. Does it have a reset? Yes, it does have a reset. SQLite 3 reset. Um. I wish there was a way of testing that we are trying to run rows, but it's not reset. But the statement is not reset yet. Like, it would be nice if there was some kind of check in here that we could pull off. If only there was a way. Let's see what these guys have for us. So we could try to step the statement. What does stepping return? Let me see. If it returns done, this returns false. If it's not SQLite row, it's an error. Step to completion. So reset can return errors. I'm actually curious to see if resetting something that's already been reset will return an error. I'm curious to see what happens if we do this. No, but we already know that we can call reset on something that is already being resetted because that's what we were doing before. Okay, so never mind. Hmm. In theory, we could have separate types. But I don't want to do this now. So Yeah, it would be pretty easy. Must be called once you're done iterating. Okay, so now we need to fix our code. So for example, let's start, I guess, from the code that crashes so that we can turn a crash into a, well, non-crash. So user add. For example, what is this insert user? Why is this? Wait, this is an insert user and password are exec functions. Okay, wait a second. What is exactly pooping itself in here? What query? So do we know which query it is? We don't know precisely. But you can see what was causing trouble in here. And this seems to have to do with adding get ID. Oh, that is the problem. Oh, this is the one. So this is the one that's causing trouble. We can't even defer shit. Oh my god. We have to do this. Cannot commit transaction. SQL statement in progress. Okay. So it's fatal that dies. Um that surprises me. So it's not this guy? It's one of the others? But insert password doesn't return anything. So this is an exec query. Insert user, man. Okay, this is on me. I'm being a dumb. This whole system needs to be improved. But returns user's ID. That's the problem. Okay, this guy insert user returns a user ID. So we could do in theory in here the init. Now you're gonna be happy. Now it's happy. Um, but what if I rerun it? Unique constraint failed. Okay. Let's change it to be handle all one. Okay, and then all two. So basically, I want to be able to repeat this thing multiple times. What if we stop the anything in this guy? So now we should be back to the problematic situation. No, now this works. Oh. Oh. Okay, so that's what Imon Burns was saying. Why adding at the end of this doesn't work the same as resetting it. And yet, well, and yet this was fine. Now I'm curious. Okay, so that does not work. But now it does. So we need to reset this, but it seems that we don't need to reset this. I guess this is implicitly the anything this. But not vice versa, or also at the same time, this is a select query. This is a get query, not an insert query. I think this might have to do with the fact that one is an insert query and the other one is not. Oh my god. I think that the solution is to just force the anything on stuff, and then we can add a convenience method. We can add like run the init get. Run get. Yeah, I think it's because insert, and yeah, it's a weird type of query. So I think in the context of a transaction, it makes sense that the database is worried about insert queries being completed. But I think that normally insert queries they complete more easily because they are just exec. So insert queries are normally in like I mean on our end, normally insert queries are expressed as exec functions, as exec statements, and exec statements are run to completion. But since that one has a return value, we cannot run it to completion. So we say we write it down as a row query, and so we need to pull data from it. But then we were never like being very precise with when to reset those statements and stuff. And so it was working fine up until that point. So I guess my question, the thing that I'm wondering about right now is it fine to keep those things unset, like unreset in memory. Also, it seems that it only tracks the last statement. I think, no, it does not only track the last statement. It's just that those are the only weird statements that have that issue, period. Is it worth complicating our usage of queries? You know what? For now, here's what I think I'm going to do. For now, let's not complicate things. Let's return to how it was before. Let's return to how it was before. No, come on, Zig, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. But let's add a convenience method for those cases. Maybe we can make it even a special type. Insert the return. Maybe we can make them a something that requires you to not use run. Let's call it returning. That kind of stuff. Let me think. Okay, let's say that row and returning are the same, but then there's a method for that you need to call on returning, which is essentially the reset. I guess we could do that. I think it would be nice if we could have a method that you only use for those ones. So like pub function return get from the ones that do returning. Sorry, run returning. Something like this. Uh-oh, where's call type defined? Oh shit. Hmm. Hmm. So here I was closing over those things. I guess I just need a different implementation. So we can put this back. But then I'm going to need a different implementation that we use up here. Actually, are we closing our config calls in here anyway? Any chance? We are closing. So we can use the same implementation. Sorry, well, a direct copy of it. Okay. So we cannot make this a we cannot make this a compile error, unfortunately, without copying all of run. But it might not be a bad idea to copy all of run anyway. Args. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so we do the binding. And then instead of producing a row or a thing, we immediately run this. Although, well, basically this. But this should not allow null. Okay, so we bind, we step, we assert that the step does produce something. Um, we make a temporary row for convenience. We defer a reset. Okay, this should be fine. Oh, that explains it. Okay, so if we do this and we go in add, then we can undo a bunch of changes. We can undo everything in here essentially. Okay, let's see if we build and if we run. Oh shit. Oh no, okay. We might be actually good. Let's see. Returning. Okay, I didn't add returning as a thing. Okay. So in common queries, insert users. Okay, this is the only one. We make it of type returning. We add returning. Okay. Let's see where this gets us now. Returning queries must use dot returning in user add. Perfect. User add. Run returning source. Although one thing that that we're not doing well is that we're not allowing SQLite errors to bubble up. Well, I guess that's a problem for another day. But I guess we can do .id. See if this is fine. Line 53. Wait, what are we talking about in here? Oh, server init. Oh yeah. Okay, I think we're happy. I think with this we're happy. We just have a dedicated function for this. I don't know if this is going to be the you know the final shape of this function, maybe of this abstraction. Maybe there's no escape, and we will need to have property init. But for now, this seems fine. Disgruntled dev, although this seems fine. At least this unblocks this situation. So let's look at the diff. So we added run return. We added a new enum case. We added run returning. Call type, fixed usage sites. Run tests. We're fine. CI. Just in case. We're good. Yeah, coming in run returning. That's fair. What was this? 73? Yeah. Um, oh, you know what? We also need we need an assert in here. Although this might actually be useful also with non-returning stuff, but for now, let's dedicate it entirely to returning. Okay, so we should be good. We should not have broken anything. There we go. Okay, success. That is all well and good. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. We did a little bit of work. It was nice fixing this annoying thing. Again, I don't know if we fix it, 100%, but it's gonna be good enough for now, for sure. What else? Yeah, this is kind of it for now. I hope that somebody starts playing with the web stuff. I'm curious to see somebody try it out and see where we land. And yeah, so now that I finished the work to refactor how messages are represented in memory in the client, the last thing that remains is to implement all the various quirky ways in which we might encounter missing history messages. So we should learn about that. I mean, we should I should make sure that I finalize that design and implement it, and then I'm done with messages for a while. And then at that point we can even deploy it. It's gonna be super crappy, but at that point we can even deploy it for real. Okay, so this is it for me today. I'm gonna call it. Thank you all for hanging out. We made some progress, and I'll see you soon. Yeah. See you all.